Good morning. We'll see the basic concepts of Python. Python is actually a new programming language which is commonly used nowadays. It's a general purpose, interpreted, interactive, object-oriented and high-level programming language. First, almost all the programming languages are first compiled and then interpreted separately. Whereas in Python, both these processes are done together by default and there is no explicit need of doing these things separately. It's an interactive language where we can execute every statement separately and the result of them can be seen. Here all the things are object in Python. When we declare a variable, integer variable or float variable or character or a class or function, whatever that we have in function will be treated with object orientation. It was created by Guido van Rossum during the year 1985 to 1990. It's an open source language and is available under the GNU General Public License. It can be used in any type of OS for free. And all the Python programs should be stored with the extension .py. It can be used to develop simple applications to complex web applications. It can be used to simply add two numbers to display some messages, or it can be used to design some web applications. Like you can create websites with different web pages, or even we can create games. Python features. It's a language which is easy to learn, read, understand, and maintain. If we want to display a message hello, in other languages we have to include the necessary header files, open the main function and include all the functions which are required for printing. Whereas in Python, just it can be done in a single statement. All the statements that we are typing in the editor window will be treated as the functions or statements in your main function. And hence it's very easy to understand. It supports wide range of standard libraries where many predefined functions are already created and stored. We can use those functions whenever we need this. And it's an interactive language where we can see the output of our statements then and there. It's also a portable one and hence the Python programs can be saved and used in any type of OS and also in any environment. It's also extendable. And if we write some modules now and at a later point of time, if we want to add some more extra features, it can be possible. It supports database programming. We can create databases, we can insert values, we can read records from the databases, we can update, delete, we can perform almost all the database operations from Python program itself. It also supports GUI programming. The GUI controls can be created using some interfaces like tkinter. Text box, label box, submit buttons, hyperlinks, everything can be created from Python. It's a scalable programming language where the size can be extended. It also supports web programming where we can create web pages. And there are many frameworks which supports this like CGI, Django. This is a simple program which displays the message hello world. Print is an inbuilt function which is used to display output in the console window. Within the parentheses, we have to give quotation mark and whatever that we give inside the quotation mark will be printed as it is. And if we want to have more statements, it can be given within the same print statement or a new print statement can be written. Just the print statement is enough to print the message and there is no need of explicitly specifying main function. All the statements that are started from the beginning First column of your editor window will be treated as the statements in the main function. Python identifiers are used to identify a variable, function, class, module, or any other type of object. It is used to uniquely identify or refer these things. It's a highly case-sensitive programming language, and we should be very careful in specifying the cases. For example, if we declare a variable with the name A given in lowercase letter, it will not be the same as the variable name given in uppercase letter A. They will be treated as separate variables and allocated separate memory. And the naming conventions to be followed while naming the identifiers are all the class names should be started with an uppercase letter followed by lowercase letters. And other identifiers like variables, function, modules or any other type of object can be started with a lowercase letter. And the only special character allowed between the variable names is actually underscore. No blank space is allowed. Only underscore is allowed. Other than that, we have to combine the two words. And if we see any variable that is started with underscore, single underscore, it means that its access specifier is private. It's a private variable and its access is only within the block in which it is defined. These are some of the keywords. There are many reserved keywords, but few of them are listed here. And is the keyword which is used to perform logical operations. Instead of double ampersand symbol in Python, we have to use AND. For logical or and not. Assert is a function which is used to trigger some functions or to trigger some activity if some condition is satisfied. Break is used to come out of the current block or loop if some condition is satisfied, and continue is to repeat the same loop if some condition is satisfied. And class is used to define a class. Def is the keyword which should be given in the beginning of every function definition. All the function definition starts with the keyword def. Del is the keyword used to delete memory allocated for a variable and also its corresponding value stored. Elif is equivalent to else if, and it should be the single word. Else. Except and finally except finally exit, they are all used in exception handling. Finally, block is used to specify some compulsory statements which should be executed at the end of all the cases. Next, for is looping. From is used together with import. Suppose if we want to import only some specific function from a given module, import function name from module name. And if we are declaring a global variable, it should be preceded with the keyword global. If in is an operator, actually it is called as a membership operator. If we want to check whether a particular item is present in the given list, it can be done with the help of in. For example, if A in hello, if the character A is present in the string hello, it will return true. Otherwise, it will return false. Similarly, not in also can be used. Is an identity operator which is used to check whether two identifiers refer to the same memory location. That means both have the same memory allotted. Lambda is a type of function which is created to reduce the size of function. If we have two or three expressions within the function definition, and if it can be combined, it can be done using the lambda function. Print is an inbuilt function which is used to display output in the console window. And pass is a statement which is used to skip the execution of a particular function definition or block. If in the beginning we don't have something to display in the function definition, and at a later point of time if we have an idea to add some statements, we can do this by having pass statement. Rise is used to raise exception if something abnormal happens. And return is used to return a value from a function to the calling function. And try is used in exception handling to hold the statements that are expected to have some exceptions. While is for looping, and likewise we have many more keywords. Variables in Python are used to have some values and memory will be allocated for this. The values for variables can be changed. Unlike constants whose value cannot be changed at once initialized, variables can have their values changed. You can reassign variables with values any number of times. And for declaring the variables, there is no explicit declaration statement required. When we give a equal to 10, it means that all the values 10 will be directly stored in the variable a. First, memory required for the variable will be allocated. It will first identify it as an integer because 10 is an integer. The compiler will understand that memory required for integer should be allocated and then 10 will be initialized to that memory location. The declaration, memory allocation, initialization, everything will be done automatically in the single statement a equal to 10. We need not explicitly specify the type of the variable. By seeing the value that is being initialized, the data type will be automatically identified. And equal to operator is used to assign values to variables. And there are many standard data types in Python. First, numbers, followed by strings, and then we have list, tuple, dictionary, and set. These four data types are newly added in Python. First, we will see numbers. There are four types of numbers. First, we have integer, which stores the values like 7, 56, 2, 24, likewise. And then we have long integer. In this, we have values with so many digits, and at the end, we have to specify L. It can be either small case or lower case. L indicates long integer. And for float value, you have to specify values with decimal point. And the range of values supported in Python is 10 power minus 308 to 10 power 308 with 16 to 17 digits of precision after the decimal point. This can be given in exponent form also. One more added feature in Python is we can represent complex number. There is a separate data type for complex number. For example, 3 plus 4j. Real part plus or minus imaginary part value followed by j. J should be given at the end and it should not be given followed by plus. And it should not be I also. Mathematically will be sometimes representing as A plus IB or A plus BI. But here in Python it will recognize only J. So real part plus or minus imaginary part followed by J. This is the standard format for representing a complex number. And as a general convention, no comma is allowed in between the numeric values. It can be given continuously without any special characters other than dot, which is used as a decimal point, and there is no limit to size of an integer.